sun goes down. Oh mama, still rocking by the window, for the sun goes down. Rain, Lord have mercy, my children can be found. You may leave your home, boy, and stay away too long. You may leave your home, boy, stay away too long. Now that's the reason I ask you, how long has it been since you've been home? Alright, this is the lesson for Lightnin Hopkins song How Long Have It Been Since You've Been Home? And it's in standard tuning, key of E. And I combined two versions of his. He recorded several times, and the best one and the best one known also is the one he plays in the documentary film The Blues According to Lightnin Hopkins, and where you don't see his guitar, only his face filmed from below. And the other version is a studio version, well, a live version also, but he only plays two verses, no solo at all. And it's from that version that I got the shuffle. And I think the shuffle makes it more a bit structured than the version which he plays in the other movie. By the way, in the documentary film, he's tuned up. He has no capo, but he's tuned up to F. And in the other version, it's the one where he sits on a high stool and with a big cap on his head. He's tuned very low. It didn't bother him to sing with it. Crazy guy. Alright, there's a lot of strumming, which is kind of, well, unusual for Lightnin. Didn't do that much. But it's very fitting in this song. It also has a very special structure, which we'll see. Okay, I will play the introduction. By the way, the introduction, well, it's typical Lightnin stuff, but he didn't play it during that song. Took it from other sources. So we have a slow slide, so let that note on the 2nd fret, 5th string ring. And then we have that E chord, 7th fret, 9th fret. And I'm hitting that fairly hard. But we don't want that 3rd string to ring. That open 3rd string, you can either fret it. It's not a great sound, but it's passable. But do like what I do. I simply raise my 2nd string finger there, the 3rd finger, so it hits and mutes that open 3rd string. And then you don't have to worry about unwanted sounds. I think Lightnin had huge hands. His fingers, I think, were thick enough that he did that without consciously doing it. I think all those players, they just went for sound and did whatever with their hands to get that sound. And I think muting there here is a good example of that. And of course the bass is a typical country blues bass, open and muted. It's not like that, or it's not open at all. That sounds pretty awful, and it's passable, but it's not a real thing. So we do that for 2 beats, and then we have a triplet, bend the 8th fret, 2nd string, and open, open, 1st and 2nd string, and we're going straight into the B7. And already we have those strums. Up. To have a controlled strum, I use my 2 fingers held together, like that. And the down strums, they're followed by the hand, and this part of my hand mutes especially the bass strings. So the strum is controlled, and it's half sounding and half percussive. And it's followed by that triplet, well, those 2 notes, open notes, that form then a triplet with the strum. Strum and a triplet, like that. And I think it's a great way to transition to, well, another chord, and it fills up the blanks. I'm going to give you an example without playing that those open notes. Sounds bare. It has to be filled up because it has a swing feel, 12/8 feel, and that way you fill it up. And Lightnin does it not all the time, but often. And you'll notice that in the rest of the song, those open notes are not prominent. It's not a real triplet with all the notes sounding at the same volume. It's lightly. If I would play it at full volume, it would sound like this. And then we have an A7, well, partly. Going into that E7, so D7 moved up to the 4th fret. It's also a signature thing that Lightnin does often, and I play that with the thumb, rake up with the index, and finish with the thumb. It's a triplet, 1 triplet, and the first note is longer than the other 2 notes. So you hang as long as possible in that slide. And again that open, it's very short and it should not ring into the next beat, certainly not. If it rings, it sounds like this. Don't want that. Double bass at the end. And notice all those double basses where we go to the open, those 2 open basses. The first one is long and the second one is muted. Grace note hammer on the beat, and we're forming first 2 notes of the 4th bar, first beat is still our E chord, and then I'm forming my A chord, A6. You can bar, of course, which Lightnin did, I think. Some people do erroneously the A7 and that sound doesn't sound. It's the A6. Again, those strums. And those double basses. Typical Lightnin, long, short, short, long, long, short, long, short. Sometimes it does. So the first beat of the fifth measure is not a double bass, so the single bass, well, it's a double bass, but the second note is the B note on the fifth string. How long has it been since you've been home? How long? And the rest we'll see later. So we're starting with that shuffle, and the muting is of course very, very important. Don't, please don't. Some people do that, and other people see that and they think it's the norm. It is not. Please don't do it. Don't let me catch you. Don't let me catch you. Of course, with the right palm it's done, it's open. If you're not able to do that, then practice it this way. You'll get the hang of it eventually. Practice makes perfect, and it is the magic word, believe me. So, how long, and we're starting on how long has it been? And I'm fretting the B7 with my thumb wrap on the sixth string. And the first two strings, well, you don't hear them. A little bit maybe, but not prominently, certainly not. And Lightnin does all kinds of different strums there. And so I stuck with this one. It's a good one. And I did a variation in the second and the third verse, we'll see that later. But this is approximately what he does. And notice that the first beat, long, short, short, long, short. Long, short, short, long, short. So, we head to the shuffle. Open to get to that B7. You can, sometimes I do open with the fifth and the fourth string, or the fourth string only. You can, well, you have a choice there. Set it again and again. Open strings, okay, if they're followed by the right chord. All downstroke temps with a temp. And notice the percussive sound of the down strums. And notice the bass strings are ringing, the sixth and the fifth string. And now the fifth string, sixth string. And the 9 bar also strumming up. And then, well, we have a kind of the difficult part with the A, where he really likes those, and he always does it, well, pretty much those double basses. And I did two kinds there in the 10th measure. It's not a triplet, it's one more time. My thumb slips from the one string from the 5th to the 4th. Like that. And then the 11th measure, there it is a triplet. Alright, how long has it been since you've been home? Sounds a bit different because, well, the singing was more like over the E chord. How long has it been since you've been home? Sitting by the window, sitting rocking there alone. And that's the, well, the very strange thing when poor mama sitting by the window, going to the B7 after that E. It's kind of strange and gives the song, well, a special feel, I think. And also after the A7. Since you've been home, oh mama. Of course, after the E, going to the B7 is not strange. I meant, of course, after the A7, the 12th bar, there the B7. It's kind of strange, but it really sounds great, so why not do it? So we had the B7 two measures, and here it's just the same. Oh mama, sitting by the window, rocking there alone. And at the end, of course, well, we have the same. And then we're going into the solo. Which goes like this. So we're going to with a thumb. Index upstrokes. I indicated it in the tab where exactly I use the thumb and the index. Gives a different feel than, which of course you can do if you like, but it's kind of different now with the upstrokes. All with the thumb. Hammer, pull up, pull off. So it's just one hit, and here's the second hit for that beat. the 19th measure first beat. And here I'm really using the classical guitar rest stroke technique while I'm hitting it, and that's why I'm able to hit it that hard, because you rest your thumb on the second string after you hit it. And I didn't put it in a tab, but I try to bend that second beat there, and the A is playing as long as possible. So again, and then to the A. So the A, notice that muting again of those bass strings. Thumb, index, thumb, thumb, index, thumb. And here I'm really, my wrist here is resting on the strings, and I go up and down to give it that special percussive effect, something Lightnin also does. It's not, and no problem that a few strings under that are ringing. So that's it for the solo, and then we have the second verse. The only variation is in the beginning. So that's part 28. Oh mama, still rocking by the window, for the sun goes down. And instead of going to the E7, which we did in bar 9, he plays, oh mama, still rocking by the window, for the sun goes down. And that's a variation. Instead of muting there, and upstroke and downstroke with the fingers. Thumb, index, index. All right, in context, oh mama, that little bends there. Still rocking by the window, for the sun goes down. Oh mama, still rocking by the window, for the sun goes down. Praying, Lord have mercy, my children can't be found. So the praying, praying, Lord have mercy, it's on the B7, mercy, my children can't be found. And then we have another solo on the bass strings. I didn't play exactly how he did it, because what he does is great but a bit chaotic. So again, I try to put some not logic but some structure, and this is mainly, well, pretty much based on some Lonnie Johnson solos on the bass strings, which he did accompanying Texas blues giant Texas Alexander. Try to listen to those recordings. I think those are the best recordings of Lonnie Johnson as an accompanist. And he had more time to develop his ideas because he didn't have to sing. And that goes for Lightnin too. There are not many recordings where he accompanies other people, but good ones are where he accompanies the singer L.C. Williams, somewhere in the 50s. Try to find those recordings. Lightnin Hopkins and L.C., 2 letters L and C, Williams. Very great recordings. All right, and then, oh yeah, we had the end, of course. And the rest is the same as the solo, apart from one small variation, which I'll show you in a minute. So, a bunch of triplets, and on, how should I say, normally we would play when we go from the other verse, from verse to verse, and now I'm playing and slide up. Sorry. 7th fret, 5, 7, and then to the 9th fret. And then a trill. And play around with dynamics, how you feel it. Back to the E. And then you slide up and again. And again to the A. So that second part, bar 36. And I accent those double notes. Otherwise they sound too dull. Three slides, 4 slides. This is bar 22 and 23, and the variation is in bar 24, where we did. And now I'm gonna so second beat is, and then we have our slide and rake up, which is exactly the same as the first beat of bar 23. And then you may leave your home, boy, and here we do the opposite of bar 29, where we did. Now we start with the 7th fret instead of the 8th fret. second string, now starting with the 7th fret, 1st string. Just the opposite what we did before. Always a good thing to do as a variation. Play it upside down or back to forth. You may leave your home, boy, stay away too long. You may leave your home, boy, stay away too long. That's the reason I ask you, how long has it been since you've been home? Now there's a variation. Instead of doing the difficult A7 section where we simply replace it by you may leave your home, boy, stay away too long, and the word long is on the B7. Long variation. That's the reason I ask how long it's been since you've been home. And also a variation is instead of just one more time, so that third beat, for example, bar 31, that third beat is just the bass. That's a small variation. And then the end tag is not in the tab, but it's not that difficult. So, second string, open 2nd fret, bend, open, 2nd string, 3rd fret, open, and play it with a thumb to get it really forceful, fat sound. And then our, like in bar 23, 1st and 2nd beat. Open, sorry, and the open strings are soft. The first time not, but yeah, that's it for How Long Has It Been? Great Lightnin Hopkins tune. Have fun with it.